This has just come through the post. Wow, yet another brilliant Atlas Creator Collections number 3. And this is Bill Everett. Now, there might be, and I hope there will be, another volume of Bill Everett at least to come, because he created so many great comics at Atlas. This one hero too many. Now, there's 38 stories in this, mainly horror, some science fiction, 256 pages, and I paid £43 for it, and the price on the back, $75, and then you can see the ISBN number, and if you can't see it, it's 979-8750-01413, and of course you can see there Marvel as well, but it's from Fantagraphics. Hardback, bigger than the usual Fantagraphic, obviously Atlas ones that you get. I say volume 3, so let's just go through this absolutely brilliant book. The Atlas Creator Collection, number 3, Bill Everett. This is a brilliant volume, probably for me, my favourite. I said that with Joe Manili, and the Al Williamson one, of course, is pretty impressive as well. But this one, for me, Bill Everett, just one of the greatest artists as far as I'm concerned. Submariner, Venus, and many other works, lots of horror, lots of comedy. He had a unique style. Obviously got all the details there, Bill Everett. This one is called One Head Too Many. And you've got the contents here, and you can see Adventures into Weird Worlds, Menace, Men's Adventures. Now, some of these stories you've probably seen in other comics. Now, really great collection to check out if you want to see Bill Everett's work is the Submariner one, the War Years. I love that omnibus collection, absolutely superb. Well, we got this, some more brilliant Bill Everett work. Now, the Submariner stories, the Venus stories, they're not included here. But you've got the horror, and it's 99% horror. Some of the stories I think feel fairly science fiction, but mainly horror. You've got some lovely photos here, and also you've got this, which I think is just great, the Motion Pictures Funny Weekly. It's one of the really earliest of the Timely comics. Was it Timely comics? I don't know. Who knows? Kizar, of course, like I say, a superb introduction from Dr Michael J Vassallo. They're always great. I think this one is probably the best. They get better each and every volume I see. Love this as well. Love those adverts. And this is always great as well. I would love to see a volume of these sort of things. The pulp fishes. Now, I know there is a secret history of Marvel Comics book, and that includes a fair amount of things, but it's still, I think, just would be great to see it in a volume like this. And you've got things like Marvin Mouse, Nellie Nurse, etc. Now, I don't know if they're going to be in the volume 2, or obviously whatever it's called in the future. You've got the zombie, Satan is Waiting. I love that one. But these ones, they're not included. You've got, of course, the zombie one there. And I remember it from that, Tales of the Zombie, of course. And that's just a classic one there. And you've got Weird Worlds. You've got some covers there, which is always great. You've got Jan of the Jungle. Now, these are not included. So none of these jungle stories are included. Now, of course, I don't know if he did the work inside. So it's quite possible it was just covers. And these ones, the Alter Ego, and of course, Pussycat. Anyway, let's just get on to the stories. Now, they all have very, very weird, humorous, dark, intense. It's just a unique style as far as I'm concerned. Just so, I mean, this one, you've got people all laughing. Of course, at this point, we don't actually see the face of the person that he's married. And he's got spectacles, but these spectacles have been given to him by a particular person. And of course, there's a result at the end. I'm not going to spoil the story. This is what I said about the horror. There's these stories, of course, some you could say as a horror, but of course, some are sort of science fiction ones as well. You've got obviously Adolf there, and you've got there the end bit. But is it a horror story? I don't know. And also, likewise, Juggernaut there, another one I would sort of fit into the science fiction. But then we're on to things like The Evil Eye, and these ones are clearly horror stories. And I think the artwork is just, I mean, look at, just superb, just so unique to Bill Everett as far as I'm concerned. So it's just amazing. I love that massive eye staring there as he beams down. And also this, I think the work in this, the restoration is superb. This is a really nice, easy to look at, superb comic that you would probably near enough have picked up off the newsstand back in the 50s. I mean, look, but saying that, I don't think we would have ever had such intense colour. That is just, wow, it's just boom, off that page. And obviously got this very weird looking robot characters. Now, some related books you may be interested in. Fire and Water. This is by Blake Bell. This is Bill Everett, the Submariner, and the Birth of Marvel Comics. It does actually go over a little bit more than that. But you've got Centaur Comics, got lots of things like Amazing Man. Also, you've of course got lots of just really brilliant illustrations and artwork all the way through. And of course, you've got there some superb Marvel Comics ones. The Submariner was, for me, some of the best. I think some of the earliest comics I got from Marvel were the Bill Everett ones. Absolutely brilliant volume. Also, a really good volume, and this one is the Timely Comics, Timely Greatest. And this is the Golden Age Submariner, the post-war years. You always do it in the wrong order. There is actually a pre-one, which I will show in a few seconds. And this one is excellent. Lots of great Atlas comics and many, many other stories as well. You've got there the Marvel Mystery Comics. That's issue 85. You can see the artwork. Brilliant. Bill Everett one. And also it's got Namora as well. That's great as well. Really brilliant volume. I don't know if these volumes are readily available. Maybe they're out of print. I assume they are now, but let's just get this other one. And this is of course, the Golden Age, the pre-war years. Oh, so we've got here lots and lots of, I suppose, obviously it's the war, so it's sort of pre-war. Lots of these were from sort of 1941, that sort of period. And you of course got Submariner versus the Human Torch and many others. These are just great tales. Perhaps not for everyone, but certainly I do enjoy a good old Golden Age comic from Timely. And the final one to show is a really brilliant volume, and this is part of the Fantagraphics library, Atlas Comics number 2. Now this one, number 2, is the finishing of the Venus stories. The original Venus one was done in Marvel Masterworks. You get volume 1 of that, and that includes, I think, first 8 or so, 10 copies or whatever of the comics. Can't remember exactly, but what it does include in this one, the Bill Everett work. And it's absolutely brilliant. This Fantagraphics presents 10 never-before collected issues starring Marvel's classic from the 1950s superhero Venus. Really worth checking out. And that should be really valuable, I would have thought. I don't know. I haven't been checking recently. However, that is all the volumes I can find in my collection. There are, of course, many other books. There's a series, I think, maybe 1 or 2 volumes of his early Centaur comics material. I haven't got those, so I can't show those. Also, I haven't got a vast collection of the actual Bill Everett's, obviously Atlas ones and Marvel Comics ones that he did. Would be nice to have those, but unfortunately, most of those are quite expensive now. But certainly the Submariner ones around about issue 50, 55, 59, etc. Those ones should be easy to pick up and feature some really great artwork. I particularly love the Venus story one as well, that's around that time. Let's go on to the grinning skull, and that's they're very gruesome. I mean, these stories are definitely pre-code, as it says, because they are gruesome in places. And you've got here, obviously, the grinning there, and you've got this guy. So I don't think any artist ever put so many beads of sweat into his work. Just always see characters always sweating there. The women always absolutely got a particular look as well. Just the whole layout is just superb as far as I'm concerned. Now, they are, of course, pretty obvious, you can see there, mainly just 6 panels. But still, I think that's fine. Doesn't need a crazy layout to make really good stories. I think these stories are just great. And I love the, let's say, gruesomeness, quite often very gruesome. A Playmate for Susan, again, another great little story as well. Again, very gruesome as well. The Rat Race, and you can see where that's going to go with a story like that. Yeah, it's not going to work out well for this character, is he? And I love these garish greens as well. You always get the yellow as well. I think it's just, now, quite a lot of text. I always find one thing I'd always say with a lot of these Atlas ones, they did pile on the text. I suppose you can't say much for that. For EC Comics were the same. They really did pile on the text. And there's definitely a lot of text here. Now, this woman actually looks a bit like the Venus character in many ways. There is a resemblance to one of the stories I've seen in Venus. But you got here, horror story. I love his writing there. I must admit, I always struggled to work out what that was saying there. But still, absolutely great. And again, you've always got the various evil characters. always often turn out to be various people like the devil or something. There's obviously a twist in the story at the end. You've got the police, of course, involved there. And again, obviously, the electric chair found murdered in his apartment, judge. There's a lot of gruesomeness in this. So if you're not coming to this, you're thinking this is all going to be very sort of comedy ones. There is a lot of comedy, a lot of humour in this, but also a lot of gruesomeness, I think. The Monster Maker. I love these ones. From the world's weirdest collection, Uncanny Tales. I assume, without going to the front, that this is an Uncanny Tales one. Now, quite often, like I say, the dress there is very similar. I've seen quite a few examples of that dress going through this. The Terrible Tunnel. I remember reading this one. Remember this one? A Tale to Marvel At. I guess that was a Marvel Tales at some point. But again, you've got that gruesome lime there, green. Blackout at Midnight, Spellbound. They told you this story's held to. But again, you can see a very familiar one there. And they're great. Really, really, again, gruesome there. Lime green again. You can see a common thing through this. And police again. Police do feature a lot in this. Lots of crime stories where people end up robbing banks and they get themselves into a mess. They go to a graveyard. It seems, graveyard at midnight. I think the clue is there. They obviously go in there. And look at that lovely, the blacks. Love that. Just that nighttime scene. You've got the character there going off to the cemetery. Hate. And you've got this character here. Again, similar sort of gruesome looking characters. Very Dr Jekyll, I think, or Mr Hyde. and the end as well. I love these ones. For the best suspense stories, look for the Atlas seal on the cover. I guess they were obviously fighting with EC and, of course, many other horror comics at the time. Burton's Blood, you've got lots of vampire stories in this as well. And again, some of the characters really sort of very, very intense. Werewolf, I think we can guess the werewolf element there. And this one, Mark of the Witch. I love this. Again, similar sort of looking character. Quite often you can see resemblance to the characters that he draws. But this one's just great one. Sort of science fiction more than actual horror. Love it. The Madman. Okay, another train one there, and obviously he's going up. Love the different angles there, going up the staircases. The New Tenants. Now, I haven't read all the stories, so some of these stories I've been flicking through and reading. I'm certain I'll be reading these for the next couple of weeks. I just think, and of course, this the classic one. This one has been reprinted quite a lot. Merely the Greatest there, A Tale of Maddening Menace, Zombie. Apparently, reading the introduction, this was one that was considered like sort of the equivalent of the EC comics, or the attempt to make a sort of EC comic one. The Greymore Ghost there. Again, you've got a gruesome bit of ending. You know the character is obviously going to meet a very poor fate at this point. The Crazy Car. I don't know what that one is. I imagine maybe the car is alive or something silly. That's the usual sort of thing. There's always a twist, etc. Oh no, the guy looks like he's aging there. Body wasting away. Now, I don't want to show you all the stories. So let's just finish at this point. Onto the cover gallery, and I think this is an actually lovely addition at the back. Really, really lovely to see these covers. Adventures into Weird World. Now, I think this one's coming out fairly soon as a volume, Fantagraphics. So that one, Adventures into Weird World. So I assume some of these we will see, but it's much bigger here. Really, really sharp quality as well. Really great. Now, the artwork, if you go through it, sometimes there is a certain murkiness. I mean, I don't think you can avoid that. These are very dark pages. So there is a certain, I think, best restoration in the world. It would be very hard when you've got lots of blacks like this. All the way through, there's a lot of nighttime scenes, all very gruesome. I think they've just done an amazing job going through these. Just look at that. I mean, the detail on that, I think just great. But back to this, you can see what you're getting here. Till Death Do Us Part. Well, maybe she couldn't beforehand. Journey into Unknown Worlds. Again, obviously some more science fiction. Then you've got the Menace one, the zombie one. Look at that, just coming out there. Now, I think you'd jump out your skin if you suddenly saw that popping out in the middle of the high street. And this one as well. What happened to Harry? Yeah, not very good. I don't think that was a good ending for poor old Harry there. And this one, the Russian Devil. I mean, I think that's just great. Mystery Tales as well. And you can see some more as it goes through. Let's kill clown, it says here. Live with corpse. And onto I think that one's just a great little story. Satan. Now, I can't find it. Probably if I look quickly through it, But that story is probably one of the best ones. I think that's just great. Very humorous story with Satan involved, with all the people sort of having a great time in hell. And that is this book. I just love it. Absolute great quality volume. I'm really pleased to pick this up. And the great thing about it for me is that it's come really undamaged, which is always something, because quite often when I get these ones from a certain company who I won't mention, they always seem to be in a very bad state. They've always got dents and everything else. I got this one from a different company, and I'm not going to say, but you can find it very easily on the web. And they just always generally do very, very well. They put it in really great packaging, and it comes really nice. And it's also a UK one, which is really good as well. Now, I don't know if these volumes are readily available in various shops like Forbidden Planet, Gosh, etc., or other shops, or if you can find, obviously, copies on maybe on eBay. But I found my copy, like I say, on this book site that's really good, that I always use for things like DC Finest as well. Got a great selection of DC Finest, so they're worth checking out. And even though I won't say their name, you can find it. You will find it. Where is it? I know, I'm just looking, and I know it's a waste of time looking, isn't it? You never can find it. I should have put a little marker showing that classic story. Well, I hope you found this of interest. Are you going to get this book? Thinking about getting this book? Are you a Bill Everett fan? I think Bill Everett's produced some great stuff, and I think that, for me, I would love to see Marvel bring out a Marvel Creator collection as well. Obviously, you've got Barry Windsor Smith one coming out, which I am absolutely looking forward to. I think that would be great, but also that there could be maybe a Bill Everett collection, because I think Bill Everett definitely deserves it, because it's just the Daredevil one, obviously issue 1, classic case, but also the Submariners as well, and also a lot of my favourite Hulks. I really, really loved the Bill Everett Hulks, and he did a few other ones as well that I'm trying to think of at this point, but he certainly did some stories that I've always thought, you know what, they stand out as very different from most Marvel comics. So for me, Bill Everett was an absolutely superb artist. Sadly, died way, way too soon. And I'm certain he would have produced absolutely even more amazing Submariner comics, as well as many others, maybe for Marvel or others as well. I think I don't know if he did lots of other work for other ones. I think there's Centaur, a few other ones. There are collections of a lot of his Golden Age work that I haven't got, unfortunately. I didn't get those, so I can't show examples of those. So anyway, hope you found this of interest. Bye.